Okay, y'all, what up? It's your boy Boogie. This is Boogie's Take. First video I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get into all topics of cause you know the hot topic is LeBron versus Jordan. But I'm gonna do little videos at a time just to voice my take on certain subjects and certain topics that all come with that conversation of Jordan versus LeBron. Now, the first the first topic I'm going to discuss is this whole first round theory. Now, the whole point of emphasis I'm gonna let everybody know is, like I just told y'all in my intro, when you discredit Michael Jordan to put LeBron James on a pedestal, if it's a debatable topic or a disputable topic, I will speak out in defense of Michael Jordan. Not because he's my favorite player of all time. I'm just here to state facts. Now, the first video I'm going to do is the first round theory. LeBron never lost in the first round. Jordan lost in the first round 3 times. Okay, now, one thing that irks me, it plays my mind, and I'm really surprised people never brought this up. Because anybody with basketball knowledge and common sense when it comes to basketball and how the playoffs are, put together, everybody knows first, second, third, fourth seed plays fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth seed. Now, with a lot of people, typically a LeBron fan, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, if you're going to discredit Michael Jordan, you got to have your facts straight. I feel like, if you got facts to back up your opinion, not just opinions to back up your opinion, but it's a lot different than saying Michael Jordan lost 3 times in the first round. LeBron James never lost in the first round. Okay, now if somebody was to tell you, well, have you looked at those records that Jordan had in the first round? So I'm here to bring 100% realness to the whole situation. Now, this is one thing, like I said, that plagues my mind that nobody brings up, and I looked it up myself. The 3 times Jordan lost in the first round. Now, I'm not making excuses. These is facts. So I feel like if you have clear-cut facts that make sense, your opinion can be taken a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? Now, let's look at Jordan rookie year when he made the playoffs first time. He made the playoffs as a rookie. The Bulls went 38-44. So they got the 7th seed that year. Michael Jordan got rookie of the year. They got the 7th seed at 38-44. Now, this is a below 500 record. We see that sometimes nowadays in the NBA where a team under 500 usually gets, if they get in the playoffs, they're usually one of the lower seeds. So Jordan, I had this all in my phone. Jordan makes the playoffs, gets the 8th seed in the first year of his career, 1984. And he plays, where is it at? The Bucks. Now that year, the Bucks went 59-23. They were the 2nd seed. Now anybody with common sense tell you right off the top of their head, if you ask them this question, do you think a 38-44 team can be the team that went 59-23? A team that was 1 win away from winning 60 games. 9 times out of 10, I would say 9.9 times out of 10, you're not going to win in the first round. So that's that year. Now, Jordan's second year. Now, that's the year he broke his foot. The Bulls went 30-52. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to stop right there and throw this in the mix. If anybody tell you a team that's 30-52 made the playoffs in the NBA, the first thing will pop in your head is, how the hell did they even get in the playoffs? A 31 team don't make the playoffs. So, let alone going up against the 1985 Celtics, who won 67 games and lost 15 games. So if you double the amount of losses that the Celtics had that year, that would be the amount of wins that the Bulls had that year. So if I was to sit here and tell you a team that's 30-52, 8th seed, going to beat the number 1 Celtics with a 67-15 record, you would put me in a mental institution. It doesn't make sense. So that's the second year. Now, the third year, the Bulls were getting better. Jordan came back healthy. You know what I'm saying? They went 40-42. The best record they had yet since Jordan got drafted. They went 40-42. They were the 8th seed, and they had to play the number 1 seed Boston Celtics again. Now, The Celtics were 59-23 that year. First seed, they knocked the Bulls out the playoffs. Now, that's just my Jordan rundown. So, in defense of Michael Jordan, because I have no doubt in my mind that if this was LeBron James we were talking about, like I said, Jordan was from an era where we didn't have social media and 100,000 opinions a day on this topic. So, but if this was LeBron James we was talking about, the first thing everybody would say is, how would you expect him to have those records and beat top seeds? Like, to beat the second seed and the first seed is damn near impossible. So my brother was like, eighth seeds beat number one seeds all the time. And I said, bro, you could probably barely count on one fucking hand how many eighth seeds beat number one seed. The last eighth seed that I can remember in the Eastern Conference that beat a number one seed was that I can remember. Now it might not be the last team to do it, but was when the Knicks beat the Miami Heat in the first round. That's when Allen Houston. That's when it was 5-game series, and Allen Houston hit what turned out to be the game-winning shot. But if I sat here and I told you that those records were Michael Jordan's, now LeBron James fans don't want to hear it because it puts a dent in their credibility when they try to discredit Michael Jordan for losing in the first round. First of all, it was his first 3 years in the league. His team never had an above 500 record, so let alone belonging in the playoffs, they weren't going to beat the top seeded Celtics or the top seeded Bucks. It just wasn't going to happen. Now, when you talk about LeBron James, now this is the thing about LeBron James. LeBron James, with Cleveland, he beat the Wizards the first time he went to the playoffs. He beat the Wizards in the first round. They were 42-40. They were the 5th seed. So that means, I guess, the Cleveland Cavaliers was the 4th seed. Now, that's incredible playoff series victory because you're the 4th seed. You're not the top seed, so it's not unanimous that you're just going to beat this team. But LeBron beat them. A year later, they played the Washington Wizards again. The Wizards were 41-41. Now, at that point, they were the 7th seed, which means Cleveland was the number 2 seed. He knocked them out the playoffs. Understandable. A year later, Cleveland gets the 4th seed again, and they play the Wizards again. The Wizards were 43-39 at this point, 5th seed. So you give them credit where it's due for that playoff series win, because they were only the 4th seed. That's not a far stretch off from who you being like this dominant powerhouse over the 5th seed. Now, next time they went to the playoffs, the Pistons were 39-43. 8th seed. Cleveland was the number 1 seed. And hold on one second. But yeah, anyway, what I was saying was Pistons were 39-43, 8th seed. Now again, like I just told y'all when I talked about Michael Jordan, when you're the 8th seed with a record below 500, nobody's picking you to beat the number 1 seed. It's just not going to happen. So, of course, LeBron, that was the year, Cleveland got the number 1 seed. And, of course, they're going to dominate the 8th seed. That's just how it happens. Now, next time they went to the playoffs, they played the 8th seed again, the Bulls. The Bulls went 41-41 that year. First seed, 41-41 team. You're not going to beat LeBron James and the Cavaliers. It's not going to happen. Now, next time they played the Celtics. Celtics was 40-42, 7th seed. So you're playing the number 2 seed, which was the Cleveland Cavaliers. You're not going to beat the Cavs with an under 500 record if they're the number 2 seed. This is what I'm saying. Like, some records are just like, it's unanimous that you're not going to win that series. It just is what it is. Like, so it's understandable that you lose. Nobody's going to discredit you for losing. And I don't think a 7th seed goes into the playoffs thinking, oh yeah, we're going to win. We're going to beat this number 2 seed team. Like, they say, okay, well, if we lose, we made the playoffs. Let's build on that. Let's get better next year. You know what I'm saying? But you're not going to beat a number 2 seed. This is what I'm trying to tell people. Next time they go, the Pistons. Now, these were LeBron's, like, years after he came back to Cleveland. After the Miami stint. I'm going to get to that in a minute. He played Pistons, 44-38, 8th seed. Now, you 44-38 with the 8th seed, the Eastern Conference is pretty strong. So nobody's here to discredit LeBron. Like, sometimes even I say, like, LeBron dominates the East because the East is weak. You know what I mean? But coming back to a Cleveland team, 44-38, and that team is the eighth seed, you're the number one seed. You're not going to lose to them. Like, it's just like virtually impossible, inevitable that you're going to beat them. Like, you know what I'm saying? So after they play the Pacers 42-40, the seventh seed, and the number two seed, they win. Now this year they played the Pacers. Now a lot of people like to say, "Oh, LeBron James carried that team through the playoffs." It is what it is. Give him all power to him because it's true. You know what I mean? Which means they had a struggle this year and they won 7 games against the Pacers, who were fifth seed. But like I said, Cleveland was the fourth seed this year, so fourth and fifth seed. That's probably, if you had to pick one series matchup out of the first round, you would say the fifth seed got a chance over the fourth seed. Then you would say the sixth seed got a chance over the third seed. But once you get past them two, it's really like, all right, well, the seventh and eighth seed is not going to beat the number one seeds. It's just not going to happen. Now, when LeBron went to Miami, the first round he played the Sixers. They were the seventh seed. They were 41-41. They finished us off. We gave them a little run at first, but they finished us off. That's the infamous LeBron said, we're looking to finish our breakfast. I think that series won 5 games, I think, or something like that. But a year later, Miami went. They played the Knicks. The Knicks, that was the short season where it was 66 games. The Knicks won 36-30. They were the seventh seed. You're not going to beat the number two seed. It's just not going to happen. Then they played the Bucks. The Bucks were 38-44, eighth seed. Miami was the number one seed. And then a year after that, they played the Bobcats, who were 43-39. So my whole point of emphasis is when it comes to this first round, because I got to sum this video up. When it comes to the first round, your common knowledge of basketball and your common sense should play a major part in when you're discussing Michael Jordan versus LeBron in the first round. Okay, you want to give credit to LeBron for not ever losing in the first round. He deserves credit for never losing in the first round. That's a good stamp to have on his track record and on his legacy when you're talking about LeBron James. That adds to his greatness. But when you discredit Michael Jordan, at least if Jordan was a number 2 seed or a number 3 seed or a number 4 seed and he was losing in the first round, your argument to have more credibility for the simple fact that you're like, no, he wasn't losing as low seeds. He was losing as top seeds. So when you sit there and you argue about the first round and somebody tells you Jordan lost in the first round 3 times, LeBron James never lost. What I say to people when that happens is, listen, use your knowledge of basketball. Everybody knows in the first round, that's where the low seeds play the top seeds. That's where the top seeds dominate. That's why most of the time you see the top seeded teams move on to the second round, because it's pretty much inevitable that an 8th seed is not going to be the number 1 seed. A 7th seed is not going to be the number 2 seed. Anything can happen in sports, but let's get off the factual logic and just think of common sense. If I'm an 8th seed and I barely just squeaked into the playoffs, I know I don't stand a chance against the number 1 seed. The general public know I don't stand a chance against the number 1 seed. So why is this argument not never made when people talk about Michael Jordan first round losses when they talk about LeBron James? I don't understand it, but like I said, I'm gonna come at y'all with a different type of logic. So next time if you defended Michael Jordan, or you hear somebody trying to discredit Michael Jordan, tell them you know basketball, right? You know how the first round go. You know all of the low seeds play the top seeds. This is what the first round is. So you should know that if Michael Jordan played all 3 of those years in the playoffs with a below 500 record, and he was the 7th seed and the 8th seed twice, you really sitting here telling me you're going to discredit that man for losing to a top seeded team when you know that's 9 times out of 10 what's going to happen? So if you want to discredit Michael Jordan to big up LeBron, please stop using the first round theory, because it doesn't even make sense if you know basketball. You know what I mean? 8th place compared to first place, it's a no-brainer. 7th place compared to second place, it's a no-brainer. So when you talk about the first round theory, please stop saying Michael Jordan lost in the first round 3 times. And that's my take on that. I get at y'all later. As usual, if y'all like the video, subscribe, you know what I'm saying? And even if you want to comment on topics I should talk about, or research and investigate and voice my take on it, the comments is always open. Like I said, I just started out, so it's going to take a lot of patience to get this where I need to get it. But above all, I appreciate y'all. I'll let y'all later. Peace.